Welcome back to the channel and thank you for joining me. Today we're going to talk about tarps. We're going to talk about the way that I use them, what I use, the gear I use that allows me to get the best out of what you see hanging over my shoulder. First things first, I generally only use one kind. It's an AquaQuest 10x10. You can find these on Amazon. Super lightweight, nice stuff sacks. Matter of fact, all the stuff I'll be using in today's video, I'll link in the description below. You can find it on Amazon. Buy it there or don't, doesn't make a difference to me. A tarp can be a super useful thing if you know how to use it. It's not hard, it looks intimidating. I'm gonna show you some tricks, show you some things to do today that will help you get the most out of your tarp the next time you're in the backcountry. So first things first, you need to set a ridge line. On an AquaQuest tarp, you can always spot the ridge line by the stitching that runs down the middle, and you've got that center attachment point to bow it out. I've just got some guy lines rigged up right now. I'm in my backyard. This is 1.8 millimeter cord, I believe. It's pretty much all I use. I don't use paracord. This stuff is way lighter, almost zero stretch, and I've just grown to really like it. I'll link that down in the description below as well. So first things first, get your ridge line set up and we'll go from there. All right, I think the simplest of all tarp setups is just your very common A-frame. We're gonna use our ridge line that we've already set up. Then we're gonna pull 4 guy lines off of 4 corners coming off at 45-degree angles. It's gonna get you that spread. You can put a tent under it. You can sleep right underneath it. No tent necessary. For me, when I use a tarp, it's usually in conjunction with a tent. I'm using a tarp to shield myself from either rain or sunlight, get in some shade. Let me show you that. All right, so I've got my tarp staked out. I'm gonna go around, tension on my corners, and this is what we're left with. It's a very simple A-frame shelter, plenty of room to sleep under, and depending on how high you set your ridge line, the headroom can be, infinite. Now, depending on what kind of weather you're gonna experience, whether you set it low to the ground or up higher, it's gonna depend on weather. Naturally, if you're having bad weather, you want the most shelter you can get. Set it down low, bring the sides of the tarp all the way down to the ground. You can ride out a pretty good storm that way. So let me get this cleaned up and I'll show you the next way that I use a tarp. So as you can see, all I did was move the ridge line forward. Gives you a shorter overhang on what I would call the front and a longer overrun to the back. Now, this isn't perfectly illustrated because I'm in my yard. My 2 trees that I'm setting my ridge line on, they're pretty far apart. I'm getting a lot of sag because I've got about a 20-foot strand of paracord coming off each tree, and then to my normal guy lines, that paracord's stretching. That's why I don't like using paracord. That might upset a few people. Paracord's the best thing that's, greatest thing since sliced bread. I disagree. It's great for some things. Ridge lines, guy lines, not the case. Not in my opinion. There's much better things on the market. So, to help illustrate what I'm trying to show you, I'm gonna get a set of tarp poles. All right, so as you can see now, I've got tarp poles set up. Now, if you're in the backcountry, if you're in the woods, find a stick, find a limb, you can do the same thing. I've done that in videos. Maybe I'll grab some screenshots of those videos and throw them in right now, give you an idea of what you can do. Basically the same principle, but not using store-bought poles. However, these are great when I car camp, and I don't mind carrying these. I carry them every time. For the money, they are fantastic, and it will help you just create a little more livable space, and really gives you an unlimited option when it comes to setting up a tarp. So now that I've got these out, I'll show you another way you can set this thing up. So now I've moved my ridge line all the way to the front, my tarp poles all the way to the front, and now I'm utilizing the entire space of the tarp. Stick your tent back in the back. Need to create some shade. That's why I love a tarp, because the possibilities are absolutely endless. Use your imagination. Now, the other way I like to use a tarp, and I can't do it because I don't have enough trees. But if you can find the ideal spot, and once you set up a tarp enough times, you'll be able to kind of look into a spot and visualize what you're going to want to do with it. But if you've got enough trees, they're spaced out, and you've got enough guidelines, you can literally suspend the entire thing above your head, give you more than enough headroom, more than enough coverage, no guidelines down towards the ground to be tripping over. I've done that in a few videos. Again, if I feel like looking back through the footage and grabbing some screenshots, I will. I'll throw them up now. But if not, I'm sure you can visualize exactly what it is I'm talking about. And last but not least, I'm going to show you how, using 2 tarp poles and guy lines, without any ridge line, without any trees whatsoever, you can set this thing up, give you some usable space without any trees around. So let me show you that. So as you can see now, we have created a complete standalone structure, no trees needed, just a couple guy lines, some knowledge of angles, and a couple tarp poles. And these, I think these extend up to 12 feet tall. So, if I had 2 more, you could put them at the back corners and create a completely elevated space. Grab you a tarp, even a cheap one. You can find some that are cheap on, Amazon. I'm not talking about your Lowe's tarps. I'm talking about a quality outdoor ripstop nylon, DWR treated, outdoor tarp, and just play around with it. Don't be afraid to experiment. Get you some guidelines. Make sure they're long enough. If I could give you one tip about using tarps, get long guidelines. You can make them shorter, but you cannot make them longer. And even for me, in some of my videos, I have wished I had just an extra like 2 or 3 foot. So that's my little spiel on using a tarp, making it work for you, using it to your advantage. I'll do my due diligence, go back through some footage, get those screenshots, and let you see how all the setups that I've demonstrated today have been used in a real world application. I know that helps a ton. But anyways, I hope this video has been helpful. It probably went a little longer than what I had envisioned, but it is what it is. So as always, if you like what we're doing, make sure to like, comment, subscribe. It's always beneficial. Like I said, all the gear I'm using today, I'll link down in the description. You can find it on Amazon. Buy it there, buy it somewhere else. I don't care. Just make sure you've got good gear, something that's going to be beneficial, something that's going to help you be successful in what you're trying to do. So, thanks for watching. We'll see you later.